everybody.
Here we go.
Yeah, baby.
We back. We washed out.
Hey, guess what day it is?
We're like all washed out.
What day is it?
It's Friday.
Friday.
It's Friday.
You know, Fridays, and you know what we do on Fridays. We are bringing some Crucible TV. We coming, bringing some energy, bringing some heat, bringing some protein shakes. We're bringing some
Guess what else we're bringing?
bands to snap.
We're bringing. Guess what else we're bringing?
They're bringing their Christmas presents.
Crucible swag.
They're bringing their Christmas presents, feeling good. Yeah, we're just doing all kinds of good stuff.
What's up, Drew?
What's happening, baby? Man,
How you doing, Drew?
Tyler G, what's happening?
we are fired up to see you today. Every Friday, 12:30. You know where we're at. You obviously got the email. You set your alarm. You're getting all fired up today with us, and we love it. Nice seeing you the other day, Jesse.
Yeah,
missed you.
Drew stopped in and
Man.
we weren't here.
Sorry, Drew.
Sorry, man.
Sorry about that, man. But
FaceTime me.
I know. I love it. But here we go. It's Friday. Every Friday. If you're brand new to watching this, thank you so much for popping on. We love this. Every Friday, we are coming, bringing some energy, bringing some heat, and we're trying to help you change your life. We're trying to help you live beyond.
Ooh.
And that's exactly what we're talking about today. I feel like we're so washed out today. I feel like, oh, get that color going.
Ooh,
there it was,
yeah.
and then we're washed back out. Powder over here. All right, I'm going to have to get a new camera. Anyways, we're getting in. If you're popping on, let us know where you're watching from. Let us know where you're watching from. If it's the first time you're on, go back, go to our YouTube channel, check out last week, check out the week before. We always put these episodes up on YouTube so you can re-watch them. You can go back and take some notes. You can go on there, share with somebody, all kinds of good stuff. So be sure to let us know. If there's something that you absolutely love, let us know. DM us, DM Jesse, DM Joey. Be like, hey,
DM me.
I love that. That was awesome. You were bringing the fire. Not the fire. Not like F-I-R-E.
Fire.
Fire. Like
A-H at the end.
F-I-Y-A-H.
Oh, yeah.
Fire. That's what we're bringing today. So anyways, we're getting into it. We're getting right into it because we know you guys have busy days. You guys have busy lives. Fridays are always just like so fired up. So we're going to bring it to you today. So today, we're going to talk about beyond. Our theme this year at Crucible, we decided, is beyond. Our word, our theme, the thing that we're going to hold on to this year is beyond. We feel really called to this word, to this idea of going beyond. We want to go beyond. We want to live beyond. But like, what does that even mean, right? You're sitting here saying, well, that's cool, Ryan, but what does that mean? And that's exactly what we're going to dive into today. So one of the big areas of life, we always talk about, like, we're more than just a gym. We're more than just a workout. We want to help change you from the inside out. We're trying to, if you're coming in to the facility, right, you're coming in your raw form. You're coming in, never done this before maybe, and you're trying to grow. You're trying to get better somehow, right? And that's exactly what a crucible is, right? It's something that you put unrefined metals into, and you heat it up to intense temperatures. You melt it down, and then all the impurities. 212, even higher than that, like a couple thousand. Right? And all the impurities come up to the top, and you scrape them all away, and you just keep doing this and keep refining it until you have something much more pure, much more valuable at the end. And that's exactly what we try to do with you guys as you come in. We bring people into our community, into the family, and we say, you know what? We know you're in an unrefined spot. You want to be much better in some area of your life. But all that stuff starts on the inside, right? You can come in and get physically better, but none of that physical stuff matters unless the inside's changed, right? Yeah. We want to be getting better, physically. We want to be getting mentally, emotionally, spiritually, like all the different areas of your life. You have to make sure that they're all in line. Intellectually, we want to make sure that we're getting better in all those areas. Because if you're just doing it in one area, we in trouble. We in trouble if we're just doing it in one area.
So check all them boxes.
Check the boxes. Check the boxes. Checking them all off. So what we're going to talk about today is how do you go beyond? What does that even mean? The first thing that pops in my head, you know what the first thing, when I started like praying about this and like really thinking about, you know what the first thing I thought of when I heard the word beyond?
Toy Story.
Toy Story.
I thought about Batman Beyond.
That's what I think.
Batman Beyond. I thought about Toy Story. To infinity and beyond. To infinity and beyond. But like, what does that mean? See, I'm a big believer.
Ant-Man said my future is infinite.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. Infinity and beyond. So one of the biggest things that I see so often is everybody that walks in here, everybody that we talk to about this, they all have limits up. They have limits, right? With self-imposed limits or limits that somebody has told you. You might have had a teacher one time be like, Joey, your arms are like really, really tiny, right? And you would have sat there and said, man, my arms are really tiny, and I know you're really
I got to
self-conscious
do
about
bicep curls.
your tiny arms, right? That's exactly it. But somebody gives you a limit. You're kind of goofy. You're kind of goofy. You're a little out there. You act a little. And so you start like believing this.
Mm-hmm.
Or, man, I'm not as smart as I should be. Or I'm not as good looking as I should be. Or I'm not as fast as I should be. Or I'm not as big as I should be. Or like, and we have all these limits that we start living up to and putting up in our head, right? So where does that come from? Is it a person? Is it a self-belief? Like all those different things. But if you really want to be that person that you're designed to be, we've got to go beyond those things.
Mm-hmm.
Can I piggyback on limits?
Piggyback,
You
man.
know who's the only person that can put a limit on you?
Who?
Is yourself.
I love
That's the only person that can put a limit on you. Nobody could say, they're just talking words. The only limit that's really you're doing is that choice when you choose to limit yourself through your thinking right there.
Absolutely. And that's so true because we're with ourselves every minute of the day. And I'll be honest with you. If you talked to other people the way that you talk to yourself a lot of times, nobody would like you,
Yeah, true.
right? Like we're so mean to ourselves,
We do.
right? And you start pushing up against one of these limits, and then what do you start telling yourself? Well, I can't do this. I can't do that.
It's like you had a bowl of I can'ts for breakfast.
Oh, I can't. Like, and I guarantee, Joey, you're going out. Let's talk about this tryouts. Okay,
Mhm.
a lot of your like pro tryouts and stuff like that. How often did you see other players, or maybe did you experience yourself walking out there and saying like, that guy's pretty good. I don't know if I'm that good. And you instantly kind of put a limit up of like, well, maybe I can only achieve this.
That was honestly probably one of my biggest fears.
Mm-hmm.
Like at getting to the professional level, like, yeah, I did that, but you impose those limits more often than you think, and then not just in a tryout setting, but in a game setting. If I know I have this starting pitcher starting that day, who the year before he was in AAA with the Astros or the Rangers or the Orioles,
you don't.
and I'm stepping in here, a 23-year-old rookie.
Yeah.
It's like I put that guard up that I'm not good enough to do well against that guy.
Sure.
So guess what?
Mm-hmm.
You go for 3.
Right. You gave yourself a limit.
Yeah.
And you lived up to it.
And guess what? Guess what also happens? Like you might not go for 3, but you walk in there and it's like, if I get a base hit, I'm going to be happy.
Right.
Instead of like, okay, if I get a guy that goes out there who I've never heard of, I'm going to try to homer against that guy.
Yeah, right.
But this guy, it's like, okay, if I just hit a base hit up the middle, I'm going to be happy.
Good enough. Yeah.
Yeah,
good enough.
a good enough mentality.
Yeah, and you do. You fall into that limit, and you've suddenly limited your chances of success. You've limited your ceiling, right? For what reason other than something that you may have heard or a statistic that you read or, whatever it is. When if you're designed to go 4 for 4 off of that guy, like if your swing is designed to do that, if your preparation is designed to go beyond that, well, let's go beyond it, right?
And also too, to kind of expand on that, it's not. I don't think it's just like the player you're facing. I think it's the environment too, because every time I got moved up a level, I would instantly start to lower my expectations. And if I batted 390 at rookie level, and I get moved up to high A or something,
Sure.
I all of a sudden bat 180.
Sure.
It's like 175, 180.
Sure.
And because it's like you don't have that self-belief because you feel like you don't belong there.
And you start instantly ranking yourself compared to all the other guys. Like, I'm better than this guy, but maybe not quite as good as that guy. And I don't know if I could ever reach this level because of versus like, I'm going to work my booty off. I'm going to do whatever. I'm going to do whatever it takes. So that's what we're going to kind of dive into. That's kind of a big picture idea of beyond. So how can we go beyond? So one of the areas that we can definitely go beyond is we like to always talk about physically. We're going to talk about physically going beyond your limits. What does that look like? What does that mean? Maybe physically going beyond for you is getting into the gym and working out. I can't tell you how many people that we get ready to work out with, and we talk about doing some training with, and they say, well, I've got to get in shape before I come in there.
Yeah.
Well, right. That's why we're here. But people give themselves a limit that says, I need to be at this level before I can even start, which keeps them from
getting in here in the
ever,
first place.
and never even starting. So maybe going beyond for you is physically hey, I'm going to get into the gym, or physically, I'm going to start eating this way because I know the way that I'm eating now, it's, guess what? I'm teetering on that type 2 diabetes, right? So I need to go eat better so that way I don't become a diabetic, or I've got to stop drinking soda. So physically, I'm going to go beyond what I want to do, right? I'm going beyond this limit. Well, it's just too hard to meal prep, or it's just too easy to grab the quick soda, or it's easy to do this. I'm going to go beyond that
Sounds like
excuse.
you're doing a lot of feeling right there, right?
A lot of feels.
Yeah.
A lot of feels. Feels don't make good decisions quite a bit. I'll tell you that.
And
Feels
I
don't
think,
make good decisions.
I think too, to kind of piggyback on the physical, if we get somebody who wants to lose weight, like that's a physical goal, but I think they have to go beyond mentally, because if you're not committed to losing the weight mentally, it's not going to happen.
Right.
I always like the phrase, without commitment, you'll never start. And without consistency, you'll never finish. So I think mentally you have to go beyond with that commitment. You have to go beyond with that consistency in order to get to that end result.
Yeah. There we go. Segued right in. That's another area that we can go beyond in mentally. How can you go beyond mentally? And I think that's one of those things that you've got to challenge yourself in that way as well, right? And maybe you pick one of these the areas to go beyond in this year. Maybe you try to do a little bit of everything, because I think they work so beautifully when you do them all together. That's when the real success happens, right? They do. They complement each other. So how can we go beyond our limits mentally? Maybe it's as simple as, hey, I'm going to read a book. Ryan, I hate to read. I know, that's why I'm saying go beyond. That's why I'm saying go beyond that limit. Challenge yourself and say, you know what? I am going to read something. I'm going to challenge myself mentally, which kind of leads into that intellectual side as well. I'm going to learn something. I'm going to stimulate all this good stuff that God gave me up here, all these neurons, all this stuff that I'm able to learn, I'm able to grow. So maybe your limit is saying, well, I'm only ever going to be this smart. I'm only ever going to achieve this much. I'm only as ever whatever, that limit is. Maybe, the intellectually, and then that cognitive side, you go beyond by reading a book. Maybe cognitively you start by writing some goals down. I'm going to think about where I want to go.
Take a step back.
Right? I'm going to take a step back and say, you know what? In life, I'm going to, instead of just floating, instead of just kind of seeing where life takes me, I'm tired of just seeing where life takes me, because guess what? I don't really like anywhere that I've gone when I'm just kind of floating down this river. Like, things don't seem to be working out too well. Instead,
I'll be floating around now.
I'm going to get out of the river. I'm in this really comfy inner tube, and it's kind of cool, but then, man, I hit some rapids, and I don't like those rapids. But you know what? That mountain up there, okay, I'm getting out of this, and I'm going to climb that. Yeah, it's going to be really, really hard. It's going to be really, really tough.
And guess what?
I'm going to choose the path.
And nobody else is going to go up there either.
Yeah.
They're going to stay on the comfortable, lazy river.
But the cool part, this is the cool part. We always talk about surround yourself with great people, right? You gotta make sure that you're leveling up the people you hang around. Well, guess what? If you start climbing a mountain, guess who else you're going to meet on that path up the mountain? Other people climbing the mountain, which are going to have similar thoughts. They're going to have similar actions. They're going to have a similar mindset to you. So all of a sudden, you're going to start doing things. You're going to start taking a path that other people are taking, and it's be like, well, hey, I kind of like this guy. I kind of like this gal. Let's hang out. Let's grow. And then you start growing together, and then you got a team there, and all of a sudden, the team is going even higher than it was before. And all of a sudden, you're looking around saying, like, man, life is good. Life is better. Now, it's challenging, but hey, let's go.
And talk about going beyond mentally. It's like when you're around those other fire breathing dragons, like you're gonna be fed with that same energy that they have.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe going beyond is just setting a path all of a sudden for your life, and saying, you know what, I'm going to set the path. I'm going to do some reading. I'm going to learn some stuff. I'm going to go beyond that limit. I'm going to set my path for my life rather than just allowing life to happen to me. I'm going to happen to life.
Proactive.
We're going to be proactive. So maybe that's how you can push yourself, go beyond that limit mentally. Wherever you're at doesn't have to be where you stay at. Like, that doesn't have to be forever, right? Mentally, don't have to. Cool. Emotionally, how can we go beyond emotionally? We talked about physically, we can get in the gym. We talked about, mentally, that we can set some goals. We can choose our life. But emotionally, how do we go beyond emotionally? Like, that's kind of just like my feelings. Like, I just kind of feel what I feel, right? Like, what? Go ahead.
I'll go ahead. I'll go. Let's start it off.
Boom.
I mean, I'm a believer in, I think a lot of times emotionally we we start something and then we start getting frustrated because we don't see that like short-term result.
Yep.
And I think part of going beyond emotionally is just sticking with that purpose.
Absolutely.
And having that vision of like, okay, this is where I want to go.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're on that path, doesn't seem like you're really doing anything.
Yeah.
But what happens is you're planting those seeds. Like you're not gonna harvest right away,
Right.
but you're planting those seeds now.
Mm-hmm.
That way, in the future, you're going to reap that harvest.
Absolutely. Well, and I think so much of that, people have such a short-term view, right? I want us to start thinking long-term, right? Long-term development, right? If anybody's ever been to a concert, or if anybody's ever been to like an event of some sort, you come away from that thing, I'm ready to take on the world. Let's go. Let's do it. Here we go.
Okay,
and then
next
Monday comes and you're like, right? Like, and emotionally you're sitting there like, man, I don't feel the same way. But is any of the stuff that you were feeling wrong necessarily? No, it's not necessarily wrong. But that like emotional, that purpose that you were feeling, that like, let's go. We just got to find a way that we can kind of keep recapturing that. And part of that is going in and digging into that purpose. You know, if you have a purpose, if you're just floating on the river, you know, you're only going to get that crazy feeling every time you go over the rapids, right? But if you're saying, ooh, that looks good, that's going to challenge me, ooh, let's go, we can get that emotional kick, we can get that adrenaline kick, and all of a sudden, no longer are we relying on something else to give us that fuel. It's going to be like, ooh, that's my purpose. I'm fired up today. No, I feel sorry for the people getting in my way today because I'm fired up. And that can be your everyday, but we don't have to listen.
That's a complete day
right there. And you don't have to like just listen purely to the emotions, because all of a sudden you got this long-term thing, right? We're not just saying, oh, okay, my emotions today are going to dictate what I do today, how I do it. Nope, we got our emotional state focused on the long term. And so we see this in training, like physically, the same mindset of long-term development, we see this in every area, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, right? How many times do we pray about something and expect God to do something tomorrow, right? Or we, sometimes it takes time. Or physically, it's like, well, I want to be throwing 90 miles an hour by my senior year, but I'm only going to work out for a month over the off season, and then I'm just going to go play. Well, wait, hold on. Like we're not thinking about the long term. You know, we'll see a bunch of people and athletes come in here during the off season, but then once the season's here, it's so short-term focused. Well, I've got practice tonight. I've got a game tomorrow versus, well, I want to be throwing the ball 92 miles an hour by the time my senior year is here, so that way I can get drafted or I can go to the college that I want. If you pull back and think about the long term, your decisions suddenly change, right?
And your action items change too.
Absolutely. And maybe we do a whole talk on the long game. Right? Ooh. The long game vision, because that is such a game-changing idea, but it's so opposite what culture does right now. Everything's so short-term. So, hey, lose 50 pounds fast, lose 90 pounds fast, make $100 grand fast.
Yeah,
you know, like 3 easy, quick payments of it. Like everything's so short, fast, go. But really, if you want something of quality, we got to go long-term. Got to go long-term. So there we go. I think we kind of tangented off of emotion a little bit, but it all
beyond, man. It's
going beyond. We went beyond the limit of emotion, but that's okay. You were going to say something?
Oh no, I was just going to kind of piggyback on your thinking with baseball players. You know, I'll get players in the cage who, you know, they start with those first couple sessions, they make a big velo jump, big velocity jump,
absolutely,
and then it kind of stagnates just a little bit. But because we're working on new adjustments, we're trying to feel new things that are not for short-term satisfaction, but they're for that long-term development.
Yeah.
It's not like I don't want players to just be good when they're 12. Like I want them to be able to go to any college they want. Absolutely. I want them to be able to go to anywhere that they want to. So sometimes players get frustrated when they don't achieve a PR every week.
Yeah. They
might be stuck on a PR for 3 months.
Okay.
But that's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine. We're
still getting better.
Yeah, we're feeling through. We're not. It's not all just about power. It's about being efficient with what we're doing as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you don't always see the results externally. Like there's a lot of stuff sometimes that's changing on the inside.
Yeah.
That's got to change first before the external change happens. I mean, look at money and investing, right? Like if you start you start early, right? It's going to be tiny little changes. But then 30 years down the road, all of a sudden, it's like, boom, we're getting crazy changes. But all that early stuff didn't feel like much, but it was setting the foundation for that good growth.
It's the seeds, man.
Yeah.
It's the seeds. Planting the good
Jesse's
seeds.
got something to say. I can see
We got Jay.
I think too, emotionally, we talk emotionally with like, say athletes on the field.
Mm-hmm.
I love the quote that Rye has. I probably quoted too many times. Is emotions can be a horrible decision maker, but a great amplifier. I think of like Tim Tebow or Kirk Cousins almost going like, "You like that?" or something like that. Like that in the moment right there, like that can be something that can rally around a team. But when it comes to making those decisions on the field or even making those decisions in life, they can
get you in trouble.
They can get you in trouble. That's for
We're
sure.
being honest. They can
They
get you in trouble.
trouble. They could, you know, it's like, oh, I can make this throw, and I throw it in double coverage, and it gets picked off, sent to the house.
Because
you know?
you're feeling forced to. Like, oh, I have to make something happen.
And that could be like that weird metaphor where you try to force something to happen in life, and then it gets picked off and sent to the house. You know what I mean?
You know what? But hey, we're going to learn from it.
I was just about to say that. You learn from it, and you get better. You learn from it, and you get better. But definitely, I think in the terms of like emotions, like going beyond in your emotions, it's not necessarily running away from them. It's knowing when to use them.
Yeah.
And like I say, they can be a great amplifier. They can help rally around. They can be a great motivator.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a drive in you, there's some type of passion that leads with that drive. There's some type of love. There's some type of emotion involved there. Don't run away from that.
Use it. Don't rely on it.
Use it. Yeah. And then rely on the craft, rely on your skills, rely on those other things that we're trying to go
rely on that purpose. Boom, I love that. There we go. And then spiritually, that's kind of one of the other big areas that we always talk about, you know, whether it's a belief there, whether it's a belief spiritually in yourself, like you've got to believe, right? You got to believe at the end of the day, you got to make sure that you're believing, right? I can't tell you how many times you see a great athlete out there or great anything that's brilliant in mathematics or in sports, but they don't believe. Man, like belief is the thing that unleashes you. Right? It absolutely unleashes
Man, I like that
you.
word,
I know
Ryan.
you do, but it unleashes you. It unleashes all that potential that you've got deep down inside. So spiritually, how are you going beyond? So for me personally, I wake up every morning and I get my prayer life in, I get my Bible study in, I get my journaling in, and that's for me, my connection, my belief there and digging into that. So maybe you set a little bit of time up in the morning, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, right? You know, we're so good at checking in on Facebook. We're so good at checking in on Instagram, but how often are we checking in on our spiritual life?
Yeah.
Right? Like if every time we want to go pull open our phone to scroll, what happens if we instead sat down and checked in with our spirit, with our soul, and said, you know what, I'm going to say a little prayer, or I'm going to check in with me to make sure I'm all right versus I'm going to check how the world's doing. Like, forget what else is going on out there. Like, we got to make sure that we're right spiritually in our soul. So maybe that's your challenge. You maybe disconnect from your soul, from your cell phone, you know, whatever it is. Instead of checking in with that, check in with you. You know, maybe it's I get up 10 minutes earlier and I do a quick Bible study, or I just get up 10 minutes early and I just do a little prayer or a meditation and do some breath work. They checking in with you so that way you can have that belief in you. You can dig. And guess what? It's going to be weird and uncomfortable. Joey and I were in here doing breath work just yesterday. And it sounded hilarious. It sounded hilarious. But we were in here.
Just like 5 minutes.
And this guy on the meditation was holding his breath. And I'm like, are you still going, Joey? Like,
he actually held his breath so long that we thought.
I thought it turned off.
Yeah. We thought like he
forgot about
breathing 5 minutes sooner.
Oh my goodness.
And then he was finally like,
and
okay, take a breath.
And we had a whole conversation already. And I was like, oh, he was still holding his breath. It was crazy. But, do something uncomfortable. Do something a little weird to slow yourself down and check back in with you. Because, again, we get so good at checking in on our phone, checking in with the rest of the world. But when are you checking back in with you, back in with your soul, back in with your spirit?
And I think a big part of checking in on yourself is waking up every day, too, and, like, not forgetting about what the goals you have for the year are.
Yeah.
You know, like that it's what you continuously tell yourself is what you're going to start to believe. So if you're checking in and reading those goals on a daily basis, automatically in your brain, like you're every day you're starting with those goals in mind.
Absolutely. And so there you go. Maybe that's how you can go beyond. Maybe those are some of the different ways that you can go beyond, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, intellectually. How are you going beyond this year. That's one of the things we're committing to this year. We're trying to go beyond in the experience. We're going to try, as a group, we're going to try to live beyond our limits. We're going to try to dream beyond our limits. We're going to try to have acts of service beyond what's comfortable and what our limits are. We're going to try to serve you guys beyond what we even think might even be possible right now. We've got some big dreams coming up right now. We've got some big ideas of things that we're wanting to do for you. And guess what? They're a little scary. They're a little uncomfortable. And we're sitting here saying, I don't know how that's going to happen, right? But that's okay. That's good because we want to go beyond that. We're really wanting to push ourselves so that way we can serve you even more and be able to help you go beyond your limits, go beyond all those things that you say are holding you back. That's why we're here. We're helping you go beyond those things, dream beyond, live beyond, act beyond, believe beyond anything you thought was possible because it's within you. You're designed to be the best version of you that
We
you
all
can
have
be.
it in us.
Absolutely.
We all have it in us.
But hey, there we go. You got to start with that belief. You got to start with that dream first. So maybe that's the first one you start with. I want you guys to dream beyond. I want you to start sitting back and thinking, you know what? If in a perfect world, what is my dream? But I don't care how it gets done. Perfect world, what would happen? Start dreaming it up. Start visualizing it. Start drawing.
Yeah,
start
drawing
writing.
it.
Like, what does that look like? Start dreaming bigger than you ever thought you could believe that it could actually happen. Start there, maybe.
Draw a picture.
Draw a picture. I was drawing something the other day, which y'all get real excited on. I'm going to keep it on the down low, but hey, I was drawing.
Me too.
I was drawing.
Me too.
And I'll tell you what, it stirred my soul in a different kind of way. It stirred my soul and it got me a little bit of fire. I don't know if you can tell.
Visualization.
I'm not really the most artistic person.
Don't matter.
But I like to draw too.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. As soon as you visualize it, as soon as you put it down, get it down there, baby. Get it down. So maybe that's how you go
Figure it out.
beyond. There you go. Do it.
Boom.
So
Man, we're out of time
already out of time. Always goes
Wow.
fast. So there we go. It's Friday, 12, not 12:30 anymore, 1 o'clock now. So we're going to be popping off here. But again, thank you so much for popping on. Thank you so much for joining us. If you ever have any ideas or any comments or anything that you're like, man, Ryan, Joey, Jesse, I want to know about this. What do you think about this? It would help my team if we talked about this. It would help my marriage if we talked about this. It would help me as an athlete if we talked about this. Shoot us a message. Shoot us a DM.
Well, we just got a message.
We would love to help.
I've been watching you guys and didn't realize you were in Frederick. That's where I live. I'll have to come check you guys out.
Come on,
Check
baby.
Check it out.
I like it.
We're in Frederick, Maryland.
Send me a message, man. We'll get you in here.
There we go. Look at this. People popping in
I like
all over
it.
the place. All right, guys. Love you guys. Have an amazing weekend. Frederick, stay safe tomorrow.
Yeah,
If
we
it's
got
a
some snow coming.
little snowy or
Get the
rainy.
snow shovels
But,
ready.
get a little workout.
Get that shovel workout.
There we
I'm
go.
gonna put on my MyZone during shoveling.
I've had my My Zone on this whole time right there. Catch
Red
it,
zone.
Stacy Main. Catching you, Stacy Main.
Hey,
All right.
This is you guys' first MyZone workout in a long time today.
This guy.
Coming for you.
Coming.
Coming.
All right, guys. Love you all. Have an amazing weekend. We'll see you guys.
Peace.
See you.